Today I'm here with Mick Leggett from Cross Keys Homes. He's Chief Executive. And he's just here to talk to us a little bit about his role and what he does within Peterborough for some charitable causes. I think you're involved in the Peterborough Community Foundation, which is a local group to help distribute funds as such. Can you explain a little bit about that?
That's really part of what's called the Cambridge Community Foundation, or Cambridgeshire Community Foundation.
Right.
What it does is give small donations to small local charities like a husband and wife who might be taking some disabled children out for basketball or fishing or those sorts of things, or a group of people signing up a small football team or whatever. It was about giving access from big company donations to small companies, because the big organisations, big charities, the ones that we know, all the very famous ones, get lots of people giving money to it. But actually, if you're just wanting to do something small locally, then how do you get any money? And it's only £500, £2,000, those sorts of things.
I see, okay.
But it's amazing, it makes a big difference.
To those charities individually?
Yeah, and there's a disabled fishing group, and if they want to go somewhere else, it's the cost of getting them there.
Right.
So, if it's just people doing it well-meaning, then where does the money come from? It's coming out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
They're not generally healed people.
Yeah.
So it just helps them out, and it's just great to see those sorts of things happening. There's big companies who are actually putting money into the pot, and the CCF, the Cambridgeshire Community Foundation,
distributes that,
gives it out.
That's a great community story, really, because we've got quite a few large businesses in Peterborough. For them to be involved in something like that shows that business, cares as well for the community.
And you always want more of them.
You always want more of them. That's good. There's another group that you're involved in, in terms of providing support to local charities as well.
That's a great initiative. It was Thomas Cook and I talked to them a long time ago, but this was a separate initiative they brought out more recently. Lots of these big companies, and I've said before, rather like this, with the Cambridge Community Foundation, can give money out to people, big nationals, because it's easier. They don't want, their job is about dealing with their business, and it's not about, they don't want a whole structure of administering charities. But what they're conscious of, a lot of these big companies, they do national things, but they don't necessarily do a great deal, or they'd like to do more in localities.
Yes.
So this was an initiative where they said, let's get all the big employers around the table. So there's about 10 of them. And it's the BGLs, the Meerkat people, Perkins, Enterprise here now, those sorts of people.
Okay.
And say, what can we do together rather than just separately, about using our staff as resources to support these organisations, and also perhaps putting some of our money in it.
Right.
But a lot of it is about how can we find effective ways of engaging with our own staff to go out and support charities.
And the communities, obviously, that they support.
Yeah. So what we were asked along as Cross Keys, because Rod Allerton, who drove this initiative, Thomas Cook, was very kindly saying every time I looked at anything that was going on in Peterborough, Cross Keys seemed to be involved. So if you like, from the quasi-public sector side of it, or what we do, we're actually around the table to try and help facilitate that as well. But the council, the Greater Peterborough Partnership, and Opportunity Peterborough are very heavily involved in it as well. But it's just interesting, the conversations we have, because schools, they've got a lot on their plate to deliver what they need to deliver, and actually trying to create the links to business are very complicated. Somebody gave a wonderful example that a business might go to a small local charity, a wildlife trust or whatever, and say we've got 200 people want to come down to and do some work. And the little charity says, great, come down. So the HR person from the big company says, where's your health and safety policy? Well, of course, we're a local charity. We haven't got one of those. You wear your wellies and bring your shovel.
Yes.
And so it's, how do you bridge that gap? So one of the things we're doing is part funding a person to fulfil that sort of bridging role. That's what Cross Keys is providing. Because we saw that as very much aligned with all the things we're doing. Actually, we can get a lot of business people. There's about 15,000 people employed by these companies.
Wow. Yeah.
And therefore, if we can actually bring those links together, schools as well, getting into schools, getting into small groups and whatever, but aligning it with what we're trying to do in Peterborough as a whole.
Yeah, so it's a lot of practical help as well, not just money as such.